My name is Jessica Swearingen, and I am here to talk to you about the power of listening effectively. This is my audience. We chose to do this outside today to get rid of any distractions inside the house, such as my dogs or my cats that decide to terrorize, and the TV or anything else that might be in there. All right. So listening. The way we listen shapes the conversation as much as the way we speak or respond. Consider the old saying, like as much of us, I think we all have said it before, but if a tree falls in the forest and we're not there to hear it, does it make a sound? It's a mind bender that leads us down multiple philosophical pathways. If I don't perceive it, does it cease to exist? Of course not. So of course the sound is still there even if we don't hear it. As most of you know, these next few slides we've already talked about, except for you because you were not here for this last speech that I did. So just a recap of what effective listening includes. Stage 1 is the physiological ability to perceive the presence of sound in the environment. Stage 2 is listening itself. Stage 3 is paying attention to what a person wants to hear, such as their needs, their desires, and their interests. Stage 4 is understanding the process of making sense of a message and what you are hearing. Stage 5 is listening fidelity, which is the degree of congruence, like what the speaker is telling you and what you are understanding, like if you guys are matching up, if you're understanding what they're truly trying to tell you. Stage 6 is responding to a message, and it offering observable feedback to the speaker, such as eye contact, facial expressions, asking questions, giving comments, your posture. I just had to, I'm sorry. Stage 7, remembering the act of recalling any previously introduced information. The amount of recall drops off in 2 different phases, such as short-term and long-term. And then, obviously, residual messages. I don't know if you guys can see these. These are just a couple little jokes that I put out here. Public listening process in one ear and out the other. It's probably definitely not some good listening, but how many of us do that? This little guy says, thanks so much for letting me go on. You're such a great listener. And the girl says, bread, milk, cereal, broccoli, eggs. Definitely not listening. Listening is a great leadership skill. People who listen are better or have a better opportunity at getting hired at a job. They have more influence and a stronger relationship with team members and less attentive leaders do. My example was Bailey at the store. With everything that she talks about, with everything Jennifer talks about her, she sounds like a really wonderful leader. I did interview her earlier in this class, and from everything Bailey and I talked about, she sounds like a wonderful leader, and she listens to her team, and they work through any problems that they might have. Listening helps improve your health and well-being, mostly your mental health. Talking about your problems can obviously make anybody feel better, This is because we're engaging in what researchers call trouble talk. It helps improve your physical and your mental health. When people listen attentively to each other speak about their everyday problems, it helps bolster feelings of closeness, friendship, and lower stress. And this can actually be with anybody, maybe not just family, not just friends, but even a counselor, somebody that you might not even know. I think this I had talked about earlier, but people with good listening skills are more likely than others to be hired and promoted. Listening is the #1 skill employers look for when hiring. Good listeners are deemed trustworthy and appealing. So, what are some reasons that you would want to practice effective listening? It creates better relationships, obviously. We are all wonderful listeners. That's why we're all here, and we're all great family members, because we all get along so well. We've all had our moments, I think. Better understanding of the conversation that's happening. If we listen and actually take the information in, then it helps decrease misunderstandings. Listening brings value, and you can connect at a deeper level. It also helps build trust. Listening makes you a better friend and a better romantic partner. Friends and partners who listen well are considered more likable and more supportive than others who don't. So make sure that you clean out your ears, metaphorically speaking. Listening well on a date can increase your attractiveness. I don't know if any of us date anymore, but if you ever get to go on a date, maybe me and my husband will go on a date one day. Honey, you gonna clean out your ears? Okay, me too, I'll clean out mine. Effective listeners are sincerely interested and engaged and not pretending. Enhances empathy. So basically, this is kind of like taking a walk in someone else's shoes. It helps you sorry, I kind of hit the button, but it helps you when you step into someone else's shoes, leading to a better understanding of diverse perspectives and reducing personal bias. This, I think I touched a little bit on earlier, but minimizing conflicts. Giving others the space to completely express their thoughts stops arguments from escalating and promotes mutual respect. I think that's an important one. Oh, these are just a little couple cartoons I had. Has listening to loud music done any harm? Has listening to loud music done you any harm? Can you hear me okay over there? It's done you some harm? No? Okay. At least you're honest. This guy can't hear me. This next one says, if I listen to your problems, what do I get in return? Nothing, Mel, but it'll help me. And you're my friend. Well, you get a better friendship if you listen, right? This is just an example of actively listening. Just sitting down, giving some great eye contact, using your hand gestures. I'm not very good at using my hand gestures, but it's showing some active listening. All right, some myths about listening. This is kind of a long slide, but so listening is a natural process. Well, yeah, it kind of is, because most of us were born with the ability to listen, but do we really listen? Listening is a skill, a lot like speaking. Everyone does it, though only a few people do it well. In the workplace, good listeners are easily approachable than others and more influential. Most people are not as good of listeners as they think they are. all listeners receive the same message. I definitely don't think that's right. Two people listening to the same speaker may hear different things. This is because sometimes one's mind is focused on something else. Like maybe you're hungry. That's me most of the time. So your mind is only picking up pieces of what it wants to hear, while the other people who are listening is picking up more or even less of the speech. People have one listening style, which is not true, because listening is a behavior. It's not a personality trait. People don't have a dominant listening style. People change how they listen based on the situation and their goals. An example is listening in class versus listening to your favorite album. Like if you listen differently in class because you're trying to learn something compared to listening to your music in your house and it's blaring and changing your hearing process. Women are more supportive listeners than men. Most of us would think that's true, but it's actually not. 87% of people believe that men and women express their emotions in different ways. However, research shows mixed results about this. Women focus more on emotional cues and context, while men focus more on facts. Researchers found that only 1% of communication difference is related to gender. I think that's a good point. But then again, as women, we think men are just selective hearing. But I think women also have a lot of selective hearing. We just don't like to admit it. Okay, so how can you practice effective listening? First of all, remove the distractions. Silence your cell phone. I think we're all guilty of this. Close your laptop. Turn off your TV. Put down your book. And find a quiet place to give the speaker your undivided attention. Such as kind of like outside. Like I said, we chose this place out here because it's probably the quietest place around my house. This is a wonderful picture, I think. I'm trying to watch my favorite show, and somebody's trying to talk to me, and I'm trying to look around them to turn up the volume to the TV. I think that's lots of great. Don't you think? Don't look so happy over there. I'm just being honest. How can you practice effective listening? Use nonverbal cues. I think we've talked about this 1,000 times. Like posture, eye contact. Always ask those questions. Listen to understand rather than evaluate and judge. Be empathetic. And of course, while we're asking questions or commenting, try not to interrupt your speaker. Because some people are really good at it and other people like to interrupt. So there you go. All right. I found this. This is out of my book that we are working on with class. I found these statements kind of interesting. I don't necessarily totally agree with them, but I wanted to share them with you. These are just some examples of what things people might say and what they actually might mean by those sayings. This first one I say a lot, and it definitely does not mean what they think it might mean. So this side is like what the person says and what they actually might mean by what they say. So this first one says, don't apologize, it's not a big deal. I say that a lot. And I actually truly mean that. It's not a big deal, don't apologize. What people think that it actually might mean is I'm angry or hurt, disappointed by what you did. That's generally not what I mean. But some people probably do mean it like that. You're going to a concert tonight? That sounds like fun. I'd like to come along. Who wouldn't want to go to a concert? I'd like to go too. Check out this news story. That's my sister. I'm proud of what she did. Well, yeah, that one I can agree with. That was quite a party you had last night. You were going strong at 2 a.m. And the noise bothered me. Yeah, you get that one over there? Sound familiar by your house, does it? where can we use our listening skills? Obviously, there's definitely more places than what I put in here. But at home, at work, in an interview, in a meeting, speaking with your family or your friends. These are just some little pictures I found. Rubbing the pregnant baby belly. Group get-togethers, things we do a lot. Doctor's office. I think this is an important one, as we probably all know, considering I work in a doctor's office. Why wouldn't I throw that in there? If you listen better in a doctor's office, not only can your doctor understand you, which is doctors and medical staff have to listen and actually comprehend what you're trying to tell them too. That's a big thing too. Maybe they should take these classes too. But if they can explain things in a better way that you can comprehend them, it's easier for you to understand your health as well. So if both sides take the time to speak in a way that you can understand, it's a lot better for your health and for them, because then you can understand everything. These are some more little cartoons I found. How many of you know what Alexa is? You probably don't. You know what Alexa is. You know what Alexa is. You do. You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Freaked me out the first time.
Okay. So 2 of these are about Alexa. This one says, "Hello, welcome to our house." And these people say, "Thanks for inviting us. Hey Alexa, order 2 tons of creamed corn." Alexa, confirm purchase. And this just says, when visiting a new house, it's good to check whether they have an always-on device transmitting your conversations somewhere. This one I think is pretty typical, whether it's male or female. This is obviously males, but she said I never listened to her, or at least that's what I think she said. I wasn't really listening. Yeah, well, that's pretty typical. And then this one is also about Alexa. This one said, should we be worried about Alexa listening in on our game plan? No, that's a male version. It doesn't listen to anything. All right, so
Male version, huh?
it's just to kind of conclude on everything. To be an effective listener is definitely a great thing. It kind of makes everybody's life a lot easier. It builds better relationships. It helps prevent misunderstanding, which is, I think we've all had plenty of misunderstandings in our lifetime. It also helps improve comprehension, like at the doctor's office, in a meeting, and those kinds of things. I think all but 3 of us are retired. All right, well, thank you for coming out to listen to my speech today. Do you guys have any questions for me? Okay, all right. Thank you.